Have you ever noticed that the law of attraction works flawlessly for billionaires, celebrities, and lifestyle influencers, but the exact moment you try to manifest money to pay your rent, the universe goes completely silent? While you've been visualizing, affirming, and gratitude journaling for months. So why is your bank account still the same, while some guy who read the same book is now a millionaire? And probably you have been told it was your fault, that your vibration wasn't high enough, or that you had limiting beliefs. Today, I'm going to tell you why that's a lie. Not a spiritual lie, not a philosophical debate, a neurological lie, a psychological lie, a lie backed by decades of scientific research that the manifestation industry buried because it would bankrupt their courses. You aren't doing it wrong. The truth is, the law of attraction is fundamentally rigged in favor of the wealthy, but it's not because of some mystical cosmic favoritism. It's because of human biology, neuroscience, and basic economics. When you are broke, your brain physically enters a state called scarcity mind, which literally blinds you to financial opportunities. When you are already rich, your brain operates with total cognitive freedom. What the spiritual community calls vibrational alignment is actually just the psychological safety of a massive bank account. In this video, we are going to strip away the toxic positivity and look at the actual science of why manifestation fails when you're struggling, and the exact psychological hacks you need to use instead to trick your brain out of survival mode so you can actually start changing your financial reality. Let's get into it. Here's what we're actually going to answer today. Question 1. What if the law of attraction was never broken? You were just using the wrong version of it. Question 2. What do rich people have in their mind that poor people literally cannot access? And it has nothing to do with IQ. Question 3. Is there a hidden switch inside you right now that, once flipped, makes success feel effortless? And if it exits, why didn't anyone tell you about it? Stay till the end. I'm going to answer all three. Problem 1. They think positive thinking is manifestation. The biggest lie taught in every free manifestation video. Just think good thoughts and things change. Bob Proctor's core insight crushes this. You can change your thinking, but that doesn't do anything. Thinking Y-type thoughts while having an X-type paradigm is like changing what song you're humming while your radio is tuned to the wrong station. The song never plays. Problem 2. They are addicted to wanting, not having. Poor mindset manifestation gets stuck in a loop. Want to check to desperation. When your subconscious is still in begging mode, you cannot attract. Obsession and desperation are the exact vibration that repels. Rich people's subconscious has moved from wanting to expecting. That's a completely different frequency. Problem 3. They have the wrong paradigm and don't know it. This is the silent killer. You were programmed from birth. Everything in your environment as a child, scarcity, conversations, money doesn't grow on trees, watching parents stress about bills, all of it got baked into your subconscious as a paradigm. And here's the brutal part. Your degrees, your YouTube education, your affirmations. They all live in your conscious mind. The paradigm lives deeper. It filters everything before your body even vibrates. Solution 1. You must reprogram the paradigm, not just the thought. Not by thinking differently, by rewiring the subconscious layer beneath thought. Practical action, repetition, discomfort, tolerance, and mentorship that forces you into new behavior patterns even when it feels wrong. Solution 2, feel gratitude before the result, not after. That state is magnetic. It signals to your subconscious that this is a known reality, not a wish. The moment it becomes easy to feel grateful for something that hasn't arrived yet, that's when you know you've crossed the line. Solution 3. Take inspired action, stop trying. When you're truly in vibration with what you want, action stops feeling like work. You feel pulled to make the call, start the project, take the leap. If it feels like grinding, your paradigm hasn't shifted yet. That's the diagnostic. The law is working perfectly. You're just vibrating at a poverty paradigm frequency. Rich people's subconscious is set to expectation. Poor people's is set to wanting. One attracts, one repels. The switch is paradigm reprogramming, and it can happen fast once you know what to do. The law of attraction isn't a cosmic ATM that favors the rich. It's a reflection of how a secure mind behaves. The goal isn't to pretend you're rich when you aren't. It's to find ways to calm your nervous system and focus your attention so you can see the paths out of scarcity. The actual mechanisms of why wealth makes the law of attraction look real. The safety net versus the scarcity loop. In traditional law of attraction, a core rule is to let go of desperation, because desperation attracts more lack. The rich reality. If you are already wealthy, it completely makes sense why it looks that way from the outside. If you see someone who is already wealthy effortlessly landing more deals, investments, or opportunities, it's easy to think, well, sure, the law of attraction is rigged for them. But from both a psychological and a behavioral standpoint, the law of attraction isn't actually a magical universal ledger that favors the rich. Instead, it operates on feedback loops. Wealthy people happen to naturally possess the exact psychological starting point that makes the law look like it's working. Here is why it feels like it only works for the rich and what is actually happening underneath the surface. When you are struggling financially, your brain operates in a state of high stress and cognitive overload, often called a scarcity mindset. The neuroscience says when you're stressed about bills, your amygdala, the brain's fear center, is highly active. It floods your system with cortisol. And all of that cognitive bandwidth that you could be using to notice opportunities, make long-term plans, take creative risks, it gets redirected towards immediate survival. Researchers at Princeton and Harvard found that financial stress alone reduces cognitive capacity by the equivalent of losing 13 IQ points. You're not failing to manifest because your vibration is low. You're failing because your brain is literally in emergency mode. And emergency mode is designed to shut down the exact functions that wealth building requires. Now, here's the cruel part. What does the wealthy person experience? They does not have that baseline survival stress. Their prefrontal cortex, the part of brain responsible for long-term thinking, is free to take calculated risks and notice subtle opportunities. The law of attraction says, like attracts like, but psychologically, calm brains spot opportunities that stressed brains are too overwhelmed to see. So when a rich person says, I just focused on what I wanted and it appeared, they're not lying. From their brain's perspective, that's exactly what happened. But they skipped the part where their nervous system was already in a state of complete safety. That's not a vibration, that's a safety net. Let me summarize and make it simpler to understand. Wanting keeps a thing in the future. Every time you say, I want this, your subconscious registers it as something you don't have yet. You're literally training your brain to associate that goal with absence. Expecting places the thing in the present. It's not wishing, it's a quiet, settled knowing. No desperation, no checking. Just certainty. Rich people's subconscious minds, because of decades of things working out, of problems getting solved, of resources appearing, their default setting is expectation. You're blocked because somewhere deep in your subconscious, you don't actually believe you're the kind of person who has what you're asking for. Change your behavior, followed by your thoughts. The paradigm shift happens when three things are working together: repetition, discomfort, tolerance, and environmental change. Do actual repeated exposure to a new identity. Watch people who have what you want. Get out of your comfort zone. Read stories of people who came from exactly where you are. Don't chase, be calm. Have clear thought process. Notice the opportunity. Follow gratitude. Make your nervous system believe that wins are possible. And here's the most important thing I want you to take from this. The fact that you weren't born into the safety net doesn't mean you're broken. It means you have a different starting point. And a different starting point requires a different strategy. Not vision boards, structural change, mindset work, real action, in that order. The manifestation industry made billions, selling you a shortcut that only works if you don't need it. The real work is harder, and it's slower, but it's actionable. And here's what I want you to remember when you close this video. Your brain isn't broken. Your vibration isn't wrong. You were handed a radio tuned to the wrong station, and nobody told you that changing the station was even possible. It is. If this video changed the way you see this, share it with someone who's been blaming themselves for years for not manifesting fast enough. They need to hear this. And I'll see you in the next one.